My name is Jim Sues. I'm with ICNA, New Jersey. I was born into a Christian family, and then about 25 years ago, I accepted Islam. I used to work for a Fortune 500 company. It was a desk job. I had an office and worked here in New Jersey. I used to sometimes go to the local driving range and hit golf balls. And one time I went out and I hit some golf balls. And on my way back, I just stopped in the pro shop to kind of browse around. They had this big bin there that was full of golf balls, and they were selling them by the dozen at a very good price. So the price was so good, I grabbed two dozen balls, and I threw them in this paper bag, and I put them on the counter. And the guy at the counter and he just punched the bag and says, "So you got a dozen balls?" And I said, "No, 2 dozen." So I got charged for 2 dozen balls. And I'm walking out to the car, and I'm thinking, geez, I could have got those balls for the price of 1 dozen. Maybe I should kind of be more alert and look for opportunities like that. But then there was another part of me that was really feeling more comfortable being that honest. And I was thinking about this. I drove back to the office and just sat down behind my desk. And then a coworker just appeared in my doorway, an Egyptian, a Muslim. I didn't even know that he was a Muslim. And he just right then popped into my doorway and said, "Say, what's up?" So I just told him the story about what had happened at this pro shop. And I said, "What do you think? What would you do?" He goes, "I don't have to think about it. It's not even a question for me. Tell him you got 2 dozen balls. My religion tells me to do that. Not even a second thought." I was like, "Oh, very interesting. So what is your religion?" And he said, "Islam." So I said, "Well, tell me more about Islam." So that's how the conversation started. We talked about Christianity and we talked about Islam. That, for instance, Jesus is referenced in the Quran many times. There is a whole chapter or a surah in the Quran that's called Maryam, or Mary. It's about the Virgin Mary, and it says that she was the most pious woman on earth. We're having sort of a discussion about the two faiths. I soon realized that this Egyptian friend, coworker, knew more about Christianity than I did. So in the interest of this discussion, and I went back and decided to read the Bible. I just started from page 1 and read it through. But we would have these discussions on a fairly regular basis about what I had read in the Bible, and a lot of the time was about the Old Testament. I learned about a lot, of course, by reading it, and then I learned a lot about the Muslim perspective. I did come to the conclusion that Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the messenger of God, and there is only one God. So by definition, that made me a Muslim. I did make it formal, and I took my shahada,